and we're starting off with AEW Collision, and when the show was announced, several stars were revealed for the roster, including the currently absent Andrade El Idolo. The former NXT champion has been out since September with a torn pec, which he had surgery for in November, though he was also sent home by AEW in October for starting a backstage fight with Sammy Guevara. While Andrade will be a part of Collision, it turns out his return could have happened much sooner, as Fightful Select reports that there had been plans for him to appear on the May 10th episode of Dynamite. Like Thunder Rosa and Miro, who both returned on that episode, Andrade would have been seen walking into the office of Tony Khan, subtly revealing that he would be part of Collision. This didn't happen, as sources told Fightful that Andrade made it clear he was against the idea, but it's unclear why exactly he said no. Andrade was also backstage at the May 17th episode of Dynamite, where he filmed a segment for social media, and given that he was shown as part of the launch event announcing Collision, he's expected to be a part of the Saturday show. It had been speculated that Andrade was trying to get himself fired in 2022 in order to return to WWE, and while that isn't happening, it'll be up to him to stay professional once he's back on TV. In October 2021, Bobby Fish made his debut for AEW, but he would leave the company less than a year later in August 2022. As part of AEW, Fish quickly aligned himself with Undisputed Era teammates Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly, and it seemed at the time a feud with the Elite was in the works. While speaking with True Heel Heat Wrestling, Bobby Fish was asked if there were ever any plans for a feud between the two factions, and said that there was always an idea in the works. O'Reilly even said that at the time, Roderick Strong would have been part of the feud if he was brought into AEW, but by the time that happened, Fish had already left the company. Explaining why the feud didn't happen, Fish said that variables get in the way, and sometimes things just don't transpire how they should, but held no ill will towards Tony Khan for plans not working out. While 3/4 of the Undisputed Era are now with AEW, Fish is making his own name outside of the group and the promotion, and we'll have to see if this feud does happen on All Elite television. It was in April that WWE announced the return of the draft, which at the time, many speculated would have much impact. After all, WWE superstars often appear on both Raw and SmackDown, and despite WWE assuring fans that this draft would lead to concrete rosters, there has already been some crossover. Just last week, AJ Styles from SmackDown was on Raw and teamed with Seth Rollins, and Jim Cornette was far from thrilled with what he saw. On his drive-thru podcast, Cornette criticized the booking of a SmackDown star appearing on Raw so soon after the draft and said that Vince McMahon blew up the draft in a matter of weeks. WWE's rosters changed considerably with the draft, but do you think the draft has already been blown up? Share your take in the comments down below. Ever since WWE forced the Hurt Business to split up, fans have been eager to see the faction reunite, and for a while, it looked like that'd be happening. While MVP had been teasing trying to reunite with Lashley earlier this year, there's been little mention of the angle as of late, and now we know why. As reported by BWE, a proven WWE insider, there had been plans for a Hurt Business reunion, but it was made clear that these plans have been scrapped. All four members reportedly pled not to be split up in 2021, but those pleas fell on deaf ears, and how do you feel about WWE not getting the Hurt Business back together? Sound off in the comments. At this time, there's been a lot of talk about Bray Wyatt's future in WWE and what kind of role he'll have, if he'll have one at all. Bray's return to WWE has hardly gone the way WWE intended, and with Alexa Bliss out for the rest of the year, it'll be a very long time if WWE plan to go ahead with the rumored angle between them. While speaking on his podcast Storytime with Dutch Mantel, the veteran wrestling manager discussed Wyatt and didn't hold back with his thoughts on the former Universal Champion. He said, "The Fiend, I don't even know if he was a heel or a babyface. It was according to what his opponent was, I guess. But I never saw the purpose of him. He never drew any money. Now he may sell some merchandise, but if he's gonna sell merchandise, let's keep him down on your card and don't try to push him into your main event, because I don't think he's gonna sell any tickets." It has been reported that Wyatt's return is on paper, but is unlikely to include The Fiend, as the mask molds for his darker persona were destroyed last year. Wyatt had a ton of buzz upon his return at Extreme Rules 2022, but that feels like a very long time ago. and it remains to be seen what the future holds for him as a WWE superstar. For over 1,000 days, Roman Reigns has been the unquestionable top star of WWE, and for years, fans have speculated that he could soon join his cousin The Rock in Hollywood. Reigns has had a handful of acting roles already, including a small part alongside The Rock in Hobbs & Shaw, and he'll soon be back on the silver screen with an unlikely co-star. On IMDb, a new movie currently titled Action Force: The Divide has Reigns listed among its cast, alongside former WWE superstar and current AEW Trios champion Malakai Black. Little else is known about the film, as there's no word on a release date or even a plot, but the project is reportedly in pre-production. It'll be interesting to see what becomes of Reigns in this upcoming film project, but don't be surprised if we start seeing the undisputed WWE Universal Champion on the silver screen. Last week, Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler captured the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships, the first tag title gold for Rousey, and the third for the Queen of Spades. The original plan was for the pair to win the tag titles at WrestleMania, but of course that didn't happen. But for Baszler, this huge win has been coming for much longer than that. Speaking to TMZ about their victory, Baszler said that in the post-match celebration, she recalled the struggles to pay rent and make weight while living on the beach in Venice early into her fighting career. She added, "I don't think people really understand how much we had to fight for this. Maybe that's something for a book in the future. It's not like it's been easy. It's not like this is just handed to us. We had to fight and claw and demand for this opportunity. I love my job, I love my work, I'm proud of everything I've done, but who doesn't want to do all that with one of their best friends? No matter what your job is, it's a pretty good time." Baszler now co-holds the record for most reigns as WWE Women's Tag Team Champion, but many believe that she should have held a singles women's title by this point on the main roster. It's been reported that Baszler and Rousey have been pushing a feud with each other once their tag team title reign ends, and would you like to see this happen? Possibly for some singles gold? Let us know in the comments. Last week, SmackDown saw a celebration of Roman Reigns' 1,000 days as Universal Champion, as well as the reveal of the new undisputed WWE Universal title belt, and this segment was a hit with fans. As WWE revealed, the segment, which also saw Jimmy Uso seemingly be kicked out of the Bloodline, has garnered over 40 million social media views, proving that the group has remained a hit with audiences. Since his return to WWE in 2012, Brock Lesnar has wrestled sporadically, and it's always a huge deal when he appears on TV. Lesnar hasn't been seen on WWE programming since defeating Cody Rhodes at Night of Champions, but his return and future appearances are in the works. A schedule of upcoming appearances by the Beast revealed that he will return on the July 3rd episode of Raw in Baltimore, which will be the first Raw after Money in the Bank. From there, Lesnar will be at the July 17th Raw from the State Farm Arena in Atlanta, and will also be at the July 31st Raw in Houston, which will be the go-home Raw ahead of SummerSlam. Lesnar isn't being promoted for Money in the Bank, and it's expected that Lesnar vs. Cody Rhodes 3 will take place at SummerSlam on August 5th, so any fans attending these shows will get to see a special appearance by the Beast live and in person. On last week's SmackDown, Lacey Evans faced Zelina Vega in a Money in the Bank qualifying match, and in what was the first televised match in months for the Sassy Southern Belle. While Evans did not win, her presence on the show has led to some speculating that WWE has some kind of plan for her, but that is far from the case. During Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer noted that Lacey Evans is still not getting a push in WWE despite her return to TV, as the company have moved on from seeing her as a star. Unless something changes, Evans will simply be a lower card heel on programming, being used to put over other talent while only rarely getting wins herself. This is quite the fall from grace for Evans, who upon her call up to the main roster was involved in a lengthy program with then Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch. In 2021, Evans was scheduled to walk into WrestleMania as Raw Women's Champion until a pregnancy derailed those plans, and don't expect her to be in any title pictures for the considerable future. Evans has not just been competing in the ring, but out of it as well, as after her appearance on SmackDown, she was criticized by the daughter of Sergeant Slaughter. Slaughter Jr. claimed that Evans is ripping off her father, which earned a fiery response from the WWE superstar, who has now sent another message. When the Slaughter daughter account said that Evans is stealing Sarge's gimmick, including his drill sergeant hat and the Cobra clutch, Evans responded that a move is simply a move. Evans also made it clear that her embracing her military past isn't a gimmick to her like it is to Sergeant Slaughter. And while she may not be getting that many wins on TV, Lacey Evans will continue fighting for her side on social media. At a recent WWE Live event, Rhea Ripley defended the SmackDown Women's Championship against Natalya and was able to retain her gold against the Canadian. During one spot of the show, the referee was seen placing his hand on Ripley, and on Twitter, one fan claimed it was very inappropriate. The fan said that the ref did not need to have his hands on Ripley for as long as he did, but this got a response from the Australian superstar who said it was okay and asked the fan not to look for the negativity in everything. A lot of things can happen at a wrestling event, and unfortunately, some of the time, inappropriate actions do take place, but that wasn't the case for this referee and Rhea Ripley at this event. And we're ending today with Marty Jannetty, whose roller coaster life will be documented during an upcoming episode of Dark Side of the Ring, and fans can expect one monumental episode. When Steve Fall had an interview with Andrew Gordon McPherson, the composer of Dark Side of the Ring, McPherson said that from what he's seen of the episode, the Jannetty episode will send shockwaves, and we'll have to wait and see what Dark Side of the Ring has in store.